Okay, the next topology method that I'm going to show you is using the Topology Brush. So what I can do is, if I'll just zoom in here, the Topology Brush is in your brush menu to Topology, and you can get to that if you type T and then O. So the Topology Brush is another curve brush. It's a lot like the Q remesher curves that we drew out. And if I actually draw out the same sort of loop that I did before, so it acts in a similar way, and that's tilting quite a bit. Let's try this. That's better. The difference is that where the Q remesher curve brush, or the Q curves, where that leaves a guide for the Q remesher, the Topology Brush, whenever there is an intersection of the brush, like that, you can see that we have a little green dot there, or a green circle there. Wherever there is an intersection of the brush, and if the number of intersections adds up to 4 around a central area, then it converts that into a polygon. And if I just draw out another loop, like so, and then draw another line down the arm like this, you can see that we now have a polygon there in our topology, and we can then build this up using this topology brush. And so you can see that we can create a ring of polygons quite easily. Now, the reason that that has jumped across to there is that we have a point here, a point here, a point here, a point here, and so it's automatically decided, yes, the next polygon will be between these lines here. So we can come in and build up our ring around like that. And you can see that it's not without its problems, because we do have a missing polygon here. Now the reason for that is that we have, this, that's jumping ahead in the lesson, we've got this extra circle here. Now that formed because the line might have started, this sort of downward line might have started too close to that line, which means that it would have tried to snap to this line and then come down from here, which means that it snaps in 2 points. One way to get rid of that is if we hold down Alt, we can actually just erase that line, and then if we hold Alt and draw off this line here, we can just get rid of that. And then we can sort of draw from one side to the other, and we fix it up that way. The Alt key, like other tools, gives us a minus, and in the Topology Brush, drawing across a line with the Alt key held down will erase that line. If you want to get rid of all of these sort of stragglers, just draw an Alt line out in empty space, not sort of intersecting any of those lines, and you'll get rid of all of those sort of straggling lines like that. Now, what you saw before was me just tapping on the mesh, and and that actually produces the new topology, like as we have here. And you'll notice that this topology has thickness, and if we come in and reverse that, you can see that that is the actual thickness, and it has an inside and outside group and the edge groups there. I think I just swallowed a fly. Yep, definitely just swallowed a fly. My next tutorial will be how to or why you should not swallow flies. Anyway, coming back to the lesson at hand, the actual thickness that you have on your topology brush is dependent on your draw size. So if we just go back to the original sort of mesh that we have drawn out, if we bring our draw size down to 1 and tap on the surface, and tap on this. There we go. We actually have a one sort of poly thickness going around our actual loop, and I'm sorry, that that's really messed me up. I think I'm gonna pause the video, go throw up, have a drink, and I'll come back. Alright, so if we have a draw size of 1, we just draw a simple 1 poly loop or 1 poly mesh over all of the topology that we've drawn out. So that's the basics of using the topology brush. Oh, I'm still not right. Okay, now what you might remember is I said be careful about, if you do have a low draw size, like a draw size of 1, drawing out curves like this. And you can see that they do work, he said, when it didn't work. I'm having a bad day. Okay, you can see that we aren't getting green circles there. So it's probably something to do with that. It's probably because the draw size is so low that we're not actually getting those intersections. So what I'll do is I will actually take the draw size up to something like 5, which will still illustrate our point. There we go. So while these sorts of low draw size curves do work, help me! They all of these points along this curve here, they take up memory, and they take up RAM, and it's just more information that the computer has to keep track of. And if you do have a great big honking system that can keep track of all of those points, that's great. But if not, it can lead to problems, and just to give you some idea of the problems that it can lead to, I'm just going to and I'll go to a previous design that I went with, and sure. And we have this guy here, and what's the low-res mesh that we went with? No. Let's see. No. And so here we can see we have got a lot of mesh going on. This is one of the reasons why I wouldn't recommend this topology brush for creating complete characters like this. And the problems that you run into are numerous. Oh, God, don't swallow flies, folks. Ugh. Okay, so we'll take our draw size up a little bit, and we're going to try drawing out new polys. Okay, you can see that there is quite a bit of slowdown. Now if we draw down this side, we have that. And it probably won't give me the error that I usually get. Well, it might have, yep. You see, we have now we have drawn basically just another row, and it shouldn't be a problem, but for some reason we have this random polygon which is heading off into outer space. So what the hell is that about? Now hopefully they've fixed this in 4R5, but one of the real sort of problems when you have this much information going on is if you try to undo, we get an error like this. And this is exactly the problem that I wanted to warn you guys about. So if you're going to do an entire character, I recommend doing it in sections if you're going to use the topology brush. If you're not going to be able to do it in sections, if you're going to do an entire character head to toe with lots of detail, keep your draw size as large as possible, draw as big a polygon sort of grid as you can, and also yeah, just don't swallow flies. See you in the next lesson.